The first night. My name is Noor. I'm just an ordinary girl from a quiet little town called Rosedale. It's the kind of place where neighbors wave from their porches, the bakery on the corner knows your order by heart, and the streets stay peaceful long after sunset. But today, I'm not here to tell you about my town. I'm here to tell you something far more personal, the story of my wedding night. If you've ever been scared of the unknown, if you've ever wondered whether love could really be gentle, stay with me until the end. I got married when I was 23. Like most girls, I had spent years imagining what love would feel like. I dreamed of someone who would hold me softly, who would look at me like I was the only person in the room. But underneath those sweet dreams, there was fear too, a quiet, nagging fear of what my wedding night would actually be like. I'd heard so many different stories from friends, cousins, even strangers online. Some girls said their first night was magical, something out of a fairy tale. Others said they cried, that they felt terrified and alone. I had no idea which story would become mine. The wedding day itself flew by in a blur of laughter, blessings, and joy. But somewhere beneath the celebration, a quiet dread sat in my chest, waiting. Leaving my parents' house that evening broke something in me. My eyes filled with tears, and my heart felt like a stone in my chest. When we finally arrived at my husband's family home, my new home, his relatives greeted me with warm smiles, trying their best to make me feel welcome. But I was too nervous to feel anything except my own racing pulse. My hands were ice cold, my lips dry, and even though I smiled for everyone, inside I was shaking. Later that night, once the guests had gone and the house had gone quiet, someone led me to our bedroom. The lights were dim and warm, and the bed was scattered with white rose petals. The whole room smelled like flowers and something faintly sweet. I sat at the edge of the bed in silence, staring down at my lap, my hands trembling in my lap. My mind wouldn't slow down. Everything felt too big, too fast, too soon. After a few long, silent minutes, the door creaked open. I didn't look up right away, but I knew it was him, my husband, Daniel, a man I barely knew. We'd spoken maybe a handful of times before the wedding. He was, in almost every way, still a stranger to me. He stepped inside and quietly shut the door behind him. I heard his footsteps come closer, and my breath caught somewhere in my throat. My heart pounded harder with every step. Still, I couldn't bring myself to lift my eyes. Then he sat down beside me, not too close, leaving a small, respectful gap between us. The room settled into a strange, peaceful silence. He didn't reach for me. He didn't rush anything. Instead, he spoke softly. "Noor," he said, "I know this is a lot. I know you're scared. We don't have to do anything tonight. Let's just talk." His voice was calm, warm, like wrapping your hands around a mug of hot cocoa on a cold evening. Slowly, I turned to look at him, really look at him for the first time. He had a shy smile, almost identical to mine. He didn't look like a man who wanted to take something from me. He looked like someone afraid of scaring away a small bird that had just landed nearby. That thought alone made me feel a little safer. He handed me a glass of water, and when I took it, our fingers brushed. That tiny touch sent a shiver through me. I blushed and looked back down, suddenly shy all over again. He laughed softly. "You don't need to be afraid," he said. "I don't bite." It was such a small joke, but it cracked the tension wide open. From there, he started talking about silly, random things, how he'd spilled coffee on his shirt right before the ceremony, how he had actually been just as nervous as me walking into that room. I was stunned. I had always assumed only girls felt this kind of fear on their wedding night, but hearing him admit it, hearing his honesty, melted something inside me. For the first time all day, I didn't feel so alone. After a while, there was a small pause. He looked into my eyes and asked gently, "Noor, can I hold your hand?" I nodded slowly. He reached over and took my hand in his, softly, carefully, like he was holding something delicate, like I was something delicate. My heart sped up again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was something warmer, something new. His thumb moved gently across my knuckles, and that one small motion made me feel more cherished than I ever had in my life. Every breath I took felt deeper. Every second felt more real. Then he leaned in a little closer and whispered, "I won't do anything until you're ready. You should feel safe, not scared." Out of nowhere, my eyes filled with tears. I didn't even fully understand why. Maybe it was relief. Maybe it was the first time all day I truly felt safe. Maybe it was because I had spent weeks imagining the worst, and instead, here was someone choosing gentleness. He wiped my tears away so tenderly. His fingers against my cheek were so soft that I closed my eyes without even meaning to. I wasn't used to being touched like that, not with hunger, but with care. Then he leaned forward and kissed my forehead. It was slow and soft, and I could feel his breath against my skin. That kiss wasn't for my body, it was for my heart, for whatever part of me still needed convincing that I was safe. "We have our whole lives ahead of us," he whispered. "Let tonight be the beginning of love, not the beginning of pressure." That night, we didn't rush a single thing. We simply lay beside each other, no fear, no pressure, just closeness. He held me in his arms, my head resting against his chest. I could hear his heartbeat, steady, strong, and calm. He kissed my hair gently, tracing his fingers slowly along my arm. There was no urgency in his touch, only warmth and care. I felt seen. I felt cherished. I felt understood. And then slowly he leaned in and kissed me. It was soft, new, a little clumsy, but it felt right. I didn't stop him because I trusted him, because I finally felt ready. We weren't perfect that night. We were just real, honest human. And that night became the beginning of something true. It wasn't just the start of being husband and wife. It was the start of a life built on respect, patience, and kindness. Looking back now, I smile not because of what happened, but because of how it happened. To every girl watching this, your first night belongs to you. Don't be afraid. It should be about comfort, never pressure. It should be about two hearts, not just two bodies. Your feelings matter, your comfort matters, your safety matters. Real love always begins with kindness. And to every man listening, please be gentle. Please be patient. Make her feel safe. Make her feel seen. That's where real love begins. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Let's remind the world that true love was never about fear or pressure. It's about patience, trust, and care. Let's make love about kindness always.